Hi, this is Steph with Belladonna Dyes, and today's project is going to be a single color ice dye that's going to be going into the playlist of Dharma's dye swatches. I have my shirt turned inside out, mostly out of habit. I've smoothed out as many wrinkles as I can. Then I decide where I want the center of my spiral to be, and I'm going to make this shirt a center spiral. And using my microwave splatter guard and a hemostat, I'm going to create the spiral. So I give the center of the spiral a little pinch, put my microwave splatter guard down on there, and then I click my hemostat down on the first click. It does not need to be overly tight. You do not want to tear a hole in the center of your spiral, and don't press it really hard into the table. I give the hemostat maybe 2, 3, 4 twists, and then with my opposite hand, I actually create the spiral. And I go as far as I can using the microwave splatter guard until I can't go any farther. I unclick the hemostat, I hold down the center of the spiral, and I gently wiggle the hemostat out. I like to secure my spirals by using rubber bands, and these particular rubber bands are my favorite rubber bands in the color purple. I still use my regular favorite rubber bands, but they're over in a pile next to the sink. I'm just being lazy about getting them organized. So once I get 2 or 3 rubber bands on the project, then I like to tighten the spiral up because there's all these loose tails sticking out. So I will pull on the loose tails and tuck them into the nearest rubber band, and I go around and around, holding the spiral down so it doesn't want to roll up on me, until when I pull on those loose tails, the spiral just doesn't really tighten anymore. Now you do want to be careful not to over tighten it, because you can pull to a point where it will just want to taco in on itself and fold up. So just try to find a happy medium. Now, since this is going to be an ice dye, I will be creating an ice barrier using the silicone cake molds. So if you do have a little bit of tails sticking out, that's okay, because the silicone cake molds can pick those up. And when I apply my silicone cake molds, I like to go with the direction of the spiral. That way it doesn't bend back if they're like any little loose tags of fabric. It goes all in a nice spiral motion. Now it's time for the fun part and my favorite part. We get to add the dye. And today I'm doing maroon, and this is such a beautiful color. I'm applying the dye using my spoon that I got from boredomwithjen.com. These spoons are awesome, you guys. Make sure you do not put them in the dishwasher unless she specifically tells you that you can. These are my new spoons, and this is the left-handed version. And this particular dye is kind of like a sticky powder. It has a real dense feeling to it. It's kind of like baby powder. So I'm using my finger to tap on the back of the spoon, and it just helps the dye sprinkle out a little bit better. I know that some people will mix soda ash in their dye or use glauber salt. I did not do that in this application, so just a little tap. So you can use the back of your pleating tool, or sometimes you'll see me use the back of my shears. Right now I'm using my finger, whatever works. And I'm doing just a half and half, so it's going to be half of the maroon and the other half is going to be white. I got these little purple shears at the dollar store, and they're great for what I'm doing out here. Now I'm using a picnic spoon. I got a box of picnic spoons from Walmart when I very first started tie-dyeing, and I still use the same spoons today. And I'm just using the spoon to really make that line nice and straight. And then I'm going to use the back of the spoon to help smooth the dye around. There's some areas where it was a little bit heavier and some areas that could use a little more dye. So I'm just going to use the spoon, the picnic spoon, to fine tune my dye placement. I should also mention that when you're doing a half and half dye like this, you want to make sure to take your color halfway through the center of the spiral. So let's say your spiral is misshapen, it's shaped like oblong or something like that. Doesn't matter. Just make sure your dye goes down the center of the halfway point of the spiral. And you don't want to oversaturate in the center because then you'll just have one big blob of color. So it's a happy medium and a learning curve. Sometimes I make the mistake and oversaturate. It's okay. It's tie-dye. There really is no wrong way to make tie-dye. It's all for fun. But just do your best. And also, less is more with dye application. It does not need to be quite so heavy-handed, and I'm trying to get back into being a little more light-handed. Next, I give the project a quick little sprinkle of soda ash for good measure, and it's just a light little sprinkle. The shirt has been pre-soaked, and I'm going to add my ice. And I have found that if I fill up the white space with my ice first, like in this particular application, I don't knock as much of the dye into the white area. So try that and see if it helps you out. It's recommended that you let your project batch at 70 degrees or higher for at least 24 hours, and this project batch for the full 48 hours. So it's been 48 hours since the ice has melted, and now it's time for the rinse out. You want to start by using cold water to rinse away any soda ash that might still be reacting within the fabric, and if you're protecting white, make sure that you rinse your project out very well. Next, you want to increase your water up to hot and rinse until the water runs pretty much clear. The hot water is going to remove any unbonded dye, that way it goes down your drain instead of into the washing machine. Keeping in mind that I wash multiple shirts together at a time, so I want to make sure they're pretty much completely rinsed out before I take it to my washing machine. Once at the washing machine, I like to do hot water cycles using Kirillon, and Kirillon is a professional textile detergent. And then I like to do a final hot water cycle using Millsoft, and Millsoft is a professional fabric softener. And it really is amazing. I can tell when people send me things if they've used Millsoft or not, because it's night and day difference. So you guys, you can get a little bottle of Millsoft to try out. It's rather inexpensive in comparison to what we spend on all of our dye supplies. So, I mean, just check it out. Then I'll put the project in the dryer and I'll iron it, and we'll come back and see the results. And I should mention that the links for Kirillon and Millsoft are down below in the description box, along with everything else that I use for tie-dye, so go ahead and check that out. Well, here it is, guys. Here's our single color ice dye for the playlist Dharma's Dye Swatches in the shade Maroon after it's been washed and dried. And I am obsessed with this shirt. It is so beautiful. I did not realize how gorgeous maroon actually is. I made a double fan fold early on when I was learning how to ice dye and didn't know anything about color splits or any of that. And turquoise showed up, and I had no idea where it came from. I know now it came from maroon. It's beautiful, and I'm like really jazzed up about these single color ice dyes again, because we're getting into the colors that I love. We're getting towards the purples and the blues and the greens. I mean, just look at how gorgeous those splits are. So the maroon itself is a really beautiful wine color, like a magenta. And then where it's diluted, it's a really pretty soft, like rose pink. And then I'm not sure what to call this color that it splits down into. It's like a a gray color. I don't know, would it be like brushed steel or something like that? But then it throws out this glowing turquoise, and I'm just obsessed. It is so stunning. And then there's some like golden brown in there. Really a beautiful color. I'm definitely going to make more of these single color ice dyes. I'm going to try it in different patterns just to see what it does, because I mean, just look at how absolutely gorgeous this color is. I'm like I said, I'm obsessed. So if you don't have maroon in your arsenal of dye colors, I highly recommend it, especially if you're an ice dyer. I mean, I really am. I'm floored. I don't really have anything more to say about it because I'm stunned at its beauty. And right here is a liquid swatch. That way you can see what it's capable of in both liquid dyeing and ice dyeing. So what do you guys think of maroon? Please leave me some comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a thumbs up, and click the bell and set it to all. That way you get notified of future uploads. And remember, have fun tie-dyeing.